I'm Richard Pyatt. This is the BC City Connection podcast. Thank you for finding us, whether it was on YouTube or maybe you're seeing us on Access Vision or maybe you clicked on the episode at battlecreekpodcast.com. At any rate, here we are, direct from the city of Battle Creek and City Hall in Battle Creek, Michigan. If you've been following along, and I know many of you have, there has been some progress being made in the building of some new fire facilities, and we want to give you an update on that in this episode of BC City Connection. And on top of that, meet our new Chief Facilities Officer. That would be Katie Norton, who joins us today, along with Battalion Chief Cody Titus from the Battle Creek Fire Department. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the update here. And by the way, let's talk for a second about these facilities. Is going to be really a jump in technology and facilities. You got to be excited about this.
I over the moon doesn't even cover it. Extremely excited. Like, this is something the city has drastically needed for years. The city truly hasn't built or done anything with its fire stations since the 70s. So I mean,
the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely due, and this will give us a huge, as you said, technology boost, health and safety boost, just an overall huge morale boost. I think it's just everything positive for the fire department.
The 70s for some of us might not have seemed all that long ago. You can, from my perspective, that might give you an idea of how old I am, but it really was 50 years ago or close to it. And that really is the point here, right? Some of the facilities, if not most of them, are behind in technology to the extent that the equipment you're using and the way to try and store it and maintain it and hold it has been a challenge in these old facilities.
So yeah, it's fun because you got to look at it twofold. It's the history of the city. So we've got a city that's extremely old and steeped in history with cereal and everything else. And our fire stations are the same way. We've got 2 fire stations that we currently run out of that had horse-drawn pumpers out of them. I mean, that, just picture that. How many years ago it was that horses pulled fire equipment up and down the roads. So yes, they need an update. And safety-wise, yeah, the buildings are beautiful and they're great, but they've met their life expectancy of today's modern fire service.
Yeah, met it and exceeded it. Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Katie, here you come. Chief Facilities Officer. You got this whole a city of facilities to look at, not to mention these historic fire stations and the notion that we have to upgrade them somehow. Talk about the big view from a facilities management standpoint when you look at everything we've got. What was it that went through your mind?
Well, the first approach to determining whether a building is useful anymore, Richard, is really do facility condition assessments. And we have such a large portfolio that determining whether or not a facility is useful, that is the first step, really, is doing these facility condition assessments. And we started, seeing a lot of this degrading things happening in these fire stations. I mean, the rigs were sinking into the floors in station 2 and 3 just because they didn't have the structural capability of holding these heavy equipment anymore. And so that's really step 1, is to look at these facilities as a whole and determine whether or not it's worth putting any more money into them. And that's what those assessments really tell you. And at this point, we'd be wasting city money really by putting a lot more dollars into those facilities. So starting from new is the best way to go.
So I think what she's saying, Cody, is the fire rigs are slightly heavier than horse and buggy.
Yeah, they've grown a touch over time, kind of like everything does. The horse and buggies weren't very heavy. The water wasn't stored in the rigs anymore. So we now have, rigs that are in excess of 40,000 pounds. And you can literally see in these buildings where the axles sit. Like they are putting that much weight and pressure on these old buildings you can almost see points where they're sinking.
Katie, when you have the experience of looking across different municipalities and
Mhm.
the overall general challenge with facilities, do you not? And so when you look at Battle Creek and these old fire stations, I presume that that's common in cities of similar age. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say so. Municipalities don't necessarily put priorities in their own infrastructure necessarily. Like I said in other interviews before, the citizens, that prioritize health and safety above others for themselves and everybody around them in the neighborhoods. And so um often with our budgeting system the way it is, the facilities, the government facilities themselves is always ranked really low in priority. But what it's hard for people to really grasp is that these emergency services that are so important to the citizens, their facilities are ranked lower, but without the facilities being maintained well, it really affects the ability for the firefighters and police department to respond in an effective way. So having these facility structures up to date, maintained well, top of the line is essential for this emergency services to be able to respond to our citizens.
Well, I think what you describe is probably not that uncommon. I mean, if you just look at our roads and bridges, for example, we kicked that can down the road for a long time. Facilities just are not things we want to spend money on if we don't have to. Can we wait? We all kind of go through that. Maybe even in our own houses, you need a new roof. How long do I have to wait? Can I just wait a while? We all go through that.
Uh,
And so why should it be any different? Unless, I mean, maybe you've seen some progressive municipalities that say, okay, we're going to sock away a bunch of money and we're going to take care of this. But I think what you're saying is that's unusual, right?
it is more unusual, but actually it's trending more positively these days, with the implementation of the group IFMA, an International Facility Management Association. There's a specific public sector council that I'm a member of on there, and we share information, we talk about strategies, we talk about things on how to stretch our dollars a little more, to work together, to collaborate on, and that's kind of the goal and the approach I'm moving forward with the city in general. It used to be very siloed across our facilities, but
Mm.
the goal is to create a more united approach that helps implement, consistent standards, shared resources, and create maintenance programs across our buildings that are consistent. So
Well,
um,
I
I'm
get it.
seeing that, like
Yeah.
Oakland County is our biggest driver in the state of Michigan for creating more standard approaches for things. And so a lot of people tend to follow suit with them too. So it's good.
Well, two things pop into my head when you say these things. Associations, trade associations like this often help set the standard for
Yeah.
these things because if you can imagine being in a position like yours and you're tasked with trying to figure out what the standards are and how to approach these things, these associations tend to help you figure out how to handle it.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Oakland County. I mean, it used to be, I presume it's the same. They're the biggest tax base in the state. So
Yes.
it makes sense that they're helping to set some standards with all of that. So
Yep.
Cody, where are we with this project to bring new fire facilities to our city? Done next week or so?
Yeah, yeah. I think we're putting the rigs in them tomorrow. As a matter of fact, so no, we actually are in a great position. I'm extremely happy. The commission and the citizens voted to approve the bond, so the money is out for bond. That's way above my head and pay grade. I don't understand any of that. I just am a doer. So basically, now the city has chosen a representative for the construction. So we chose Schweitzer was the lowest reasonable bid. So another great plus for the city is it was a local contractor. So that's a good plus. And basically, now that it's been approved and moving forward, kind of in a I don't say a limbo process, but we're in a process where they're doing their end paperwork and getting stuff arranged. We're kind of doing our end to make sure all the ducks are in the row and the oversight goal is so this facilities program is going to touch quite a few of our fire stations. So it's going to start this fall, and they're going to start with fire station number 1. And fire station number 1 is getting a new roof and some other new stuff to it. And they're going to start there because it's an easy one.
Yeah.
Then their goal is with the 2 new facilities, station 2 and station 3, they'll have all their ducks in a row come spring. Their idea is to start, we don't know which of the 2 they're going to start with yet, but they're going to start one of them in March and then one of them in May, June. They want to put them about 60 days apart from each other. So basically they break ground, do structural work for one, and then that crew moves to the second one, breaks ground and does structural work, and then they can just keep the flow of the crews moving. Schweitzer is pretty confident that they can get those 2 buildings completed, and then as soon as those 2 buildings are completed, they'll start with fire station number 6's extremely large remodel, which is almost a brand new building of itself. And they're thinking maybe the spring of the next year to start that one. And then once that's done, we'll see where everything lands for what happens next.
Boy, Katie, these are not short-term projects, are they? They take years to get done.
Yeah, they're gonna be the next 4 or 5 years of Cody and I's life here at the city.
So from your perspective, when we're looking at this kind of a project that's somewhat phased and we're going to have this part at this timeline and then get into bigger parts of the project, what's your role in all of this? You get to have the 50,000-foot view and manage all of this stuff?
You know, we do have an architect at Driven Design, that interior designers that help us manage these kind of things. They're being hired by the city to help do some of this construction administration. Cody and I will have a lot of oversight as far as details in the project, types of finishes and materials, and giving our insights into operations. Cody has a lot of insight in what's needed and what's not needed, and my perspective comes in through a maintenance perspective, what will last long term, making sure these facilities are going to last at least 50 years and making sure the material chosen is durable for that.
Oh boy, so there's the other side of it. Here we were just talking about how we've sort of kicked the can down the road on facilities. Now you have this opportunity to build modern facilities, and part of the thinking has to be, how do we make them last?
Right. And being proactive, right? Taking these brand new facilities and getting, okay, now for the future, we are going to take a proactive approach and make sure these last as long as they can.
Yeah. Wow. We don't want engines sinking into the ground in these, Cody.
No. And the big thing, like Katie said, is we want to do it diligently. We want to make sure each building is done correctly. And then move to the next one and make sure that one is done correctly. And in ensuring that both the building itself is done and that the health and wellness for the people that are going to inhabit that building is done correctly.
Yeah.
Because that's the end goal. The end is the safety for the employees and the firefighters that reside there.
All right. So is there one thing that you look forward to once these are done that you'll say, man, this is so much easier than before?
You know what? As funny as it's going to sound, one of the things that will be so much easier is buying new fire apparatus.
Yeah.
Because we have to buy fire apparatus based on a specific size and a specific standard that will fit in our current stations. Because our current stations' garage doors aren't standard sizes. So it will open up a new realm for us to even be able to maybe look at the city differently and place our equipment in different spots. Because right now there's only 2 stations in the city that our aerial truck can house. Once this is done, there'll be 5. So I mean, it's huge operationally.
Yeah, the logistics will be easier in some ways.
Yes, very much so.
This is typical, right, Katie? You're looking at the big picture on all of this, and it's going to be so much more modern.
Yeah, it'll save us a lot in time and effort to make sure that we have these brand new ones and can focus more on proactive maintenance instead of reactive maintenance that we're doing right now.
Big difference. So as far as your position is concerned, here you have this big project starting with these new fire station facilities, but you're keeping track of all the facilities
in
the city on top of that, right?
Yeah, I still have some great building managers in a lot of our facilities that, still take care of all the daily operations for these facilities. Right now, I'm focusing a lot on the capital projects citywide, the big high dollar projects that need a little bit more oversight. I don't have a huge team at this moment to really take on all of our facility operations at this time. But that's kind of the goal overall in the future, is to grow and kind of, I need to take time to learn these facilities in detail, right? I need to spend weeks and time in these facilities, see where they're doing well, seeing where they need help, seeing how we can be more proactive, what we can combine as resources, but that's going to take me some time. I'm working on some other facilities right now. We have the Kingman Museum building in Lilar Breedham that we're doing some work on. There's a Valentine Center building we own in Irving Park that we're partnering with WKKF and Bronson and some other organizations to bring that building back up to snuff so it can be a daycare again. There's a lot of other facility projects that I'm working on, so I'm really thankful for Cody here that he has his eye on the ball with this fire station project, and I'm there to assist him when he needs me.
Well, congratulations on all the progress that you've made so far, and this is where we've been trying to end up, right? With a process to get us to these more modern facilities that are so needed, and we've cleared a number of hurdles here. It's on the way.
Yeah,
It's huge, huge.
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, we'll look forward to some updates on this as more progress gets made. I know we've talked about it several times, and so it's nice to be at this point, and we'll be excited to hear updates.
Most definitely.
Richard,
Thanks.
I'm just thankful that, I get to be part of this big impact for our community. It's really exciting for me.
Yeah, I appreciate that thought that you've joined on here past some of that heavy lifting. So now whatever the next heavy lifting is, you'll be here for that to help out. And it is exciting, and we'll sure be interested to see how this all sorts out once it's all done. Thanks to you both.
Thank you.
Battalion Chief Cody Titus, Battle Creek Fire Department, and Chief Facilities Officer in the city, Katie Norton, here on the BC City Connection.